Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue and I am back for another Girlfriends. My girlfriend, they're through thick and thin. My girlfriend, they're more than pain. My girlfriend. Okay, listen. I had to give it to y'all right quick, right fast, with as much distortion as possible so that, Angie Stone won't come for me, okay? Because I believe she does that. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. So, episode 6 starts off with William scaring the bejesus out of Joan at their office. Okay, the fact that he was even able to do this to her at their job was so terrible. Okay, he got the electricity cut off, he got her phone line cut and everything so that he could make her think she was in that building by herself. And then he comes in dressed as a security guard and falls on the floor as if he's been stabbed in the back. And it's like, gotcha. So apparently we learned that over the years on Halloween, William likes to scare the bejesus out of Joan. So now Joan wants to get him back. And this is the type of episode you do when you want to talk about Black people's relationship with the police department without making it sad and serious. This is how you do it. Listen, did anybody else catch that? That's what this episode was really about? So she tells the girls that she has to get back at him. And here's when the conversation, gets real. You can't scare a Black man with just any old jump out, thinking she's dead type of scenario. Any old Scream Halloween movie vibe that you think you can have. That is not going to scare a Black man. You know what I'm saying? Not really. You know what I mean? They know that shit's not real. So you can't pop out and scare somebody like that when they know that shit not real. You know what I'm saying? At least men of William's era. Okay? But do you know what always scares Black men, no matter how much they try to pretend it doesn't? The fact that they don't have any control when there's a police officer in their presence. They have no control of their situation whatsoever, no matter who they are. It's not just being Black men. Black people, period, feel very out of control of our lives and situations when coming into contact with the police officers or police department in any capacity. You guys, I'm sorry. I'm watching my dog scratch his back on our hammock. And it's hilarious. He's so smart. Okay, sorry. Back to girlfriends. Joan is having a costume party. You guys know Joan always likes to have a holiday party at her house, okay? William comes in as Black man, society's most underappreciated superhero. Ha! The realism here, okay? Maya comes in, okay, dressed like a cheerleader from Bring It, and says that she and Darnell got pulled over in this little ritzy-titsy ass neighborhood for driving while Black. And she says that they called her Jabari a spook, and it was because he had a sheet over his head. But she says that he was really a napkin. He wasn't a ghost. I was like, sure. And then Darnell comes in and says that, well, maybe if he had a fork and knife, like I said, they would have known he was a napkin. But either way, they still got pulled over for being Black in this expensive neighborhood. William thinks that they're tripping. William thinks that Black people need to get away from this whole thing that the man is always trying to keep them down. And listen, something can be true and people can use it as a crutch all at the same time. Okay? Those two things can happen at the same damn time. I kid you not. I kid you not. Because the system, in every way, shape, or form, legally holds Black people down in every way they can. Okay? When it can, it will. And not everywhere, but in a lot of areas. Redlining or zoning, whatever they do, where they put you in a bad neighborhood and give you the shitty school that doesn't get all of the money. You know what I'm saying? And you go to somebody's white neighborhood and they got all this nice shit everywhere and you wondering how, because you paying taxes too. And from what you hear, they get all of these, tax cuts and shit. So you trying to understand how it is that you paying all these taxes in your neighborhood and your street lights ain't even on, but you go to their neighborhood and everything is so nice. Okay? Like there are a whole bunch, and that's just one example, but there are a whole bunch of things that happen that are unfair and obvious about, the mistreatment of Black people in this country. William and Joan. See, what happens is once you reach a certain status as a Black person yourself, you then all of a sudden think that it happened just because you worked hard for it, and that everybody else is not working hard enough. When really, no, let's look at your situation. Let's look at the parents who raised you. Let's look at the household that you lived in, okay? Because William came from a nice little country house with a 2-parent household. Joan, also, even though her parents were divorced, her mama had money. Okay, daddy had money. Nobody was out here wanting for anything. So even though y'all may not have grown up around rich white people, y'all still grew up having access of things. So when you come into disenfranchised black people whose parents may not have been able to give them that certain type of lifestyle because they had different roadblocks. My parent might have got on drugs for some reason, okay? Or I might have grew up in an area where I couldn't get a nice house in the country, and I had to live in a shitty apartment for my whole damn life. And they always raising the rent prices. And you know, there's just so many things. And people never want to think about those factors. They just want to generalize everything. And that's what William did when Maya and Darnell come in and say that I got pulled over for driving in this neighborhood while being black. Okay? And so that is where Joan gets the stroke of genius, that is how she will scare William. So at the party, there is a girl there that's been flirting with William, and William is flirting with her. She's also Tracee Ellis Ross' oldest sister. Toni comes in, and she is with some weird man dressed as a teddy bear, and she tells Joan that he wants them to have a menage with a teddy bear, but she doesn't know where his teddy bear has been, so she wants to use Joan, Mr. Snuffles. And Joan says, no, you can't use Mr. Snuffles for a menage with a freak. What kind of freak you done brought up in my house, Toni? And then she drags her over to Lynn and Maya to tell them about it, and Lynn already knows about this, okay? She says, it's called Plushy Love. I said, oh, wow, there's always a home for weirdos. Makes me feel comforted yet disgusted. David shows up with Miss South County, and she speaks as if she's in a pageant at all times. It's very weird, but she was also one of my favorite video girls back in the day. Just saying. William then goes home with Tracee Ellis Ross' sister, you know, drops her off home, but she took his cape. So when he goes back to get the cape, her mom comes to the door and says that the girl is dead, and this is a terrible trick to play on an old woman. William the whole time is like, oh, Joan, oh, Joan. And he's pissed because the cape comes with a costume and he wants to get his $30 deposit back. So he's kind of, you know, trying to get this cape back for real. So he goes back to Jones. So they go to the mausoleum in order to prove that the girl is dead. She comes out, you know, dressed as a ghost. Whoa! And of course, it doesn't work. Okay? But William gets his cape back, and then the police show up to ask them what they're doing in the mausoleum. I'm like, paying my respects? The wrong with you? I would hope that they wouldn't really do that, but knowing police officers, there's some black person somewhere that probably went to jail because they went to a mausoleum late at night. It's probably somebody, I'm sure of it. William is annoyed and tired and just ready to go home, okay? But the police push him down to the ground and handcuff him, and that's when he gets scared. He thought it was all a game up until that moment, and that's when he really felt some type of way. He was like, I can't believe I'm being racially profiled. I'm like, you can't, Brian Gumble? You can't? Why? You're colored. The cop tells him to look Joan in the eye and tell her she got you. And then it was all a part of the joke, which he knew from the beginning. But at some point, he stopped thinking it was a joke and he thought it was real, because the police scare black men no matter what, especially when they put them in handcuffs for no damn reason. Then Yvonne comes in. Okay, and we find out that Yvonne and William went on that date together, and then he ghosted her. So she's pissed off at him. And Joan says that this is payback for last year. Toni gets back to Joan's house once she's gotten home and gives her Mr. Snuffles back. Apparently she stole him, and there was a moment when Toni went to the bathroom, so she doesn't know what happened. Anything could have happened. Joan looked like she wanted to throw Mr. Snuffles away, but something tells me she'll just wash him with extra laundry detergent. Toni is dating a city council member, a white city council member that's running for mayor, okay? Y'all. The subject matter of dating a white man and having to explain your weave to him. Something I never really wanted to deal with. You know why? Because they make you feel like an animal in a zoo. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a curiosity, but there's also a condemnation that comes along with the curiosity. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, look at how the black people do what they do. Aww. It's not as good as how white people do it, but you know, aww, like that's the feeling it gives, you know, and it makes us uncomfortable and we don't like it. But either way, she comes down to David's restaurant. She's trying to get people to vote for him. And Maya is like, so you're boning for zoning, basically. And so she gets up to walk out. And Joan tells them that she saw Darnell feeding some woman strawberries at the airport. And when she confronted him, he and the lady acted as if they had been caught in something. So now, of course, weird, awkward Joan doesn't know what to do with this information. She feels like she should tell Maya, give her a heads up, but then you don't want to tell a woman about her man, child. She might get upset with your ass. So I think his name is Tim. Tony brings Tim back to her place. They're about to have a nightcap. And so she has to explain about her weave before they get into it because he kept putting his hands in her hair when they were kissing. So she has to explain that this hair is sewn into her hair so that her short hair can appear longer. And so you can't just be yanking it or pulling it in the moment of passion. Do we have an understanding? He says, yes, I don't care about your weave thing. So they have sex. Then in the middle of the night, he's staring at it and putting his fingers in it, waking her up. And she's like, leave my hair alone, okay? And then he's like, oh, it's so curly back here. What's this? And she's like, stay out of my kitchen. We'll talk about BDBs and buckshots later. I'm like all the early 2000s before we stopped hating on our own hair. Listen, our hair defies gravity. I just feel like we grew up in a society that doesn't teach us to love ourselves. And when people don't teach you to love yourself or how to take care of yourself, you don't know how to take care of what you have. So it gets dry and brittle. You had to learn how to put lotion on. So why you can't learn to put moisturizer in your hair? You know what I'm saying? You just got to learn how to deal with it. But at the end of the day, it is beautiful nonetheless. It is what God has given us. It is what makes us unique, beautiful, and different. And texture is everything. Just saying. So at Joan's office the next day, instead of keeping her mouth shut about this situation with Darnell, she asks Maya what to do and makes it seem as if she saw William's girl cheating on him. And Maya is just like, if you don't have any real evidence, then you should just keep that to yourself. When William comes up to Joan's office after he got out of some heated meeting, he's all upset, and Maya thinks it's because of the girlfriend. So she brings it up to him and then notices that he's trying to recover, but he didn't know what the hell she was talking about. So she drags him into Joan's office, and Joan has to admit she saw Darnell feeding some trollop strawberries. Of course, Maya is like, you don't know. Darnell ain't got time to be cheating with nobody else. Okay, he can't handle all of these. You know what I'm saying? All of that type of stuff. You know, my man not cheating on me. You don't know what you're talking about. But ultimately recognizing that Joan cares about her and don't want her man and is not trying to hurt her and doesn't want her to be miserable. But if she's seen something, she got to say something because Maya has sense. Maya knows if the shoe was on the other foot, that she would probably say something as well. So even though it's not what she wanted to hear and now she's confused and annoyed and pissed off, she still has love for Joan. I was glad because, you know, sometimes girls don't want to be friends with their friend no more. Start saying all kind of mean shit to their friend about their issues. You just mad because you ain't got no man and you just hating on me and want me to be miserable. It's like, no. So how is it that I end up doing the right thing and here you are berating me? Ain't that about a bitch? So nobody wants to be that friend, but I think I would have said something. I ain't gonna lie. If I looked at something and I saw something there, I probably would say something. I just would be very careful about the way I worded it. Okay? So when Maya gets home that night, she waits up for Darnell. She tries to have sex with him, but he says he's funky and dirty and wants to get in the shower first. So she asks him, are you funky and dirty from working or are you funky and dirty from cheating on me? Okay, confronts him, ask him flat out, you cheating on me? You know? And he says, no, what are you talking about? She said, well, Joan said she saw you. Oh, Joan. Oh, you mean the Joan that ain't got no man? You know, starts to go in, makes her feel bad about it, all right? Says that I can't believe you. Have I ever given you a reason not to trust me, Maya? Okay, he gets upset. Instead of going and getting a shower, he's going to go sleep on the sofa, even though he's still funky and dirty, and make the sofa funky and dirty, okay? The next day, Maya gets to work and tells Joan that she was just tripping and she don't know what she thought she saw, but it wasn't nothing. And now he thinks that Maya doesn't trust him and it's all Maya's fault now. I said, oh, so he flipped it on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did something because he flipped it on you. Yeah, you did something. You did something. At the end of the day, Darnell comes to pick Maya up from work and decides that he needs to plead his case and set Joan straight about what she thinks she saw. And the whole time, Maya just stayed quiet, and she told him she'd meet him down in the car. She just wanted to talk to Joan right quick. And she says, I don't know what he did, but he did something. He's a simple guy. He's never felt the need to explain himself to anybody. And the fact that he felt the need to come up here and plead his case to you tells me that he is feeling guilty about something. So whatever he did, it's over. But yeah, he did something. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, Maya, you so smart, girl. Oh, she picked up on that shit. I had been feeling like that since the beginning. But she finally caught it. Bitch like your girl Tony, I don't think she would have caught it. At the end of the episode, Tony goes to a press conference when Tim wins the mayoral race. And he says, you know, oh, I'm so thankful. I want, you know, LA County to be just as diverse as it's always been. And one of the main people here that's helped me see what it is my black girlfriend and her weave. And I was just like, did he really have to bring up the weave at the press conference? Is that something we talk about at press conferences? People's hairstyle choices. See what we mean? That's why we don't want to let white people in on some of the things that we do, because this is the type of shit y'all do. You publicize something that does not need to be talked about publicly with anybody. My hair being real or fake, when you know that, I guess because you don't know, but people feel that if your hair is long and real, you are better than someone whose hair is short under a long weave, okay? They feel like that person is bald-headed. You know, they make y'all think black people can't grow hair, but no, y'all wouldn't let us take care of our hair or braid it up the way we used to. Y'all actually made laws against it during slavery so that white men would want to have sex with us. Because when we used to braid our hair and put beads and all kind of stuff and feathers in our hair, they found that attractive. And it's hard to brutalize people you're attracted to, I guess. Child, let the patriarchy tell it. But either way, y'all, you know, obviously, Tony and the mayor are not about to be together, and there's not going to be any boning for zoning here. Just boning for humiliation about your weave. But yes, that was it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I love you. See you in the next one.